Hey guys, in the beginning, we were told that a highly successful employee of a multi-billion dollar company returned home from a business trip and was never seen again. We were told she was a high-level executive of the multi-billion dollar company. We were also told she was a retired nurse who left the nursing behind to become a stay-at-home mom. We were told that a coworker had dropped her off at home in the middle of the night before she disappeared. And then we were told that in the morning she missed a doctor's appointment, which raised the alarm that she was missing. In the beginning, we were told that her body and the bodies of her two children were found at her husband's job site. We were told she was pregnant with the couple's third child, a boy who already had a name. We were shown photos of the couple's wedding, showing the bride dressed all in white. We were told that Christopher Watts was a loving father and husband. But then we were told he had a girlfriend and that he routinely used websites like Tinder to meet up with strangers to have casual sex. We were told that he had multiple sex partners, while his loving wife doted on him and their children. We were told that Christopher Watts was a murderer. He wasn't an alleged murderer, and he wasn't an accused murderer. No, he was a murderer. He was a family annihilator. He was a monster. He was narcissist. He was evil. We were told that he murdered his wife and children so that he could start a new life with the coworker who he was doinking. Evidently, he fell head over heels in love with the coworker he was doinking. So much so that he decided one day out of the blue to murder his wife and kids. We were told that while his wife, the retired nurse, who had chosen to be a stay-at-home mom over her career, while she was a stay-at-home mom, she was also a highly successful executive. We were told she was an employee of a highly successful billion-dollar company. Actually, a highly successful multi-billion-dollar company. We looked up the name of the company on the Better Business Bureau website, and we noticed that it was not yet registered with the BBB. And people on social media who were discussing the case of the murderer, Christopher Watts, not the accused or the alleged murderer, the murderer, the monster. Well, people opined that it seemed strange that a highly successful multi-billion-dollar company that had been in business already at the time, I think for 6 years, hadn't yet registered on the BBB. And we talked about it in the discussion groups on Facebook. And then just 3 days later, the multi-billion-dollar company that had been in business for 6 years, we were told, 3 days after we talked about it on social media in one of the Facebook groups, the multi-billion-dollar company did register on the BBB. You know what? In the beginning, we noticed there was a quitclaim deed on the public website which deeded Christopher Watt's wife's interest in the family home to Christopher Watt. It was dated in July of 2015, and we took a look and we saw that Christopher Watts had bought the house on his own in 2013, and 1 month after he bought the house, he quitclaim deeded ownership interests in the house from himself to both himself and his wife. And then 18 months later, during the pendency of the couple's bankruptcy, which was filed, I think, in June of 2015, so 18 months after Christopher Watts bought the house, they filed for bankruptcy. And then just 1 month later, 1 month after filing the bankruptcy, and 1 month before the bankruptcy was granted, the debtor wife quitclaim deeded her interest in the family home back to her husband. People discussing the case on social media opined that they thought that broke the law to shift assets during the pendency of a bankruptcy case, right? So, people discussed that in the groups on Facebook, and just 2 days later, the quitclaim deed, dated in July of 2015, no longer appeared on the public site. In the beginning, we were told that the bankruptcy had to be filed due to unforeseen medical bills. We were told that Christopher Watt's wife suffered a long list of serious diseases. We were told she had lupus. We were told she had fibromyalgia. We were told she had whatever that other one is, the SJORG, whatever, Sjögren's or something like that. I don't know. We were told she was gluten intolerant because, remember, we were told that her future mother-in-law and future sister-in-law had cross-contaminated the food at one of the bridal showers. We were told she had diabetes, and we were told she was infertile, among many other claims of diseases and serious health concerns. But in her photos, she looked like she was healthy. So, when people who were discussing the case said, she looks like she's healthy, then we were told that she was so determined that she was able to overcome her long list of serious diseases. Wow. In the beginning, we were told that she was able to suddenly stop taking 28 pills per day. We were told that before she met Christopher Watts, that she earned $500,000 per year, and that she owned a $500,000 home of her own. Now, I know a lot of nurses, and the nurses I know who own $500,000 homes have husbands who own highly successful companies. Or the husband is a lawyer or a doctor. And one nurse I know, her husband's a police lieutenant, and they've been married a long time. So that's interesting, on her nurse's salary, that she was able to earn $500,000 a year and own a $500,000 home of her own. We were told in the beginning that Christopher Watts was a car mechanic when he met her. We weren't told that Christopher Watts was a NASCAR trained mechanic with a good income, a good job, obviously, a good savings account, and he had excellent credit when he met her. We were told that Christopher Watts was fat and that his wife helped him get into shape. We weren't told in the beginning that when they met, that Christopher Watts was fit and that he worked out daily at the gym. We were told that Christopher Watts' family didn't treat his wife very well. We weren't told that his wife berated his friends and family from day one, that she did not want him to work out at the gym after they started dating, that she fired his sister and his cousin from the bridal party shortly before the wedding. We weren't told in the beginning that she cried to Christopher Watts that his family was rude to her. We weren't told that the day she met his family, that she had Christopher Watts tell his family members that she was 40 years old so she could see the look on their faces when they met her. We weren't told that Christopher Watts' wife had already, at age 26, been married and divorced. We weren't told that before the bankruptcy filing, she bought a dining room table that was soon repossessed. We weren't told that when she sold her $500,000 home for $350,000, that even though she sold it for roughly $15,000 more than she bought it for, I think she bought it in December of 2009, which would have been roughly 9 months before she met Christopher Watts, that even though she did sell her $500,000 home, for $350,000, which was roughly $15,000 more than what she paid for it back in December of 2009, that if you figure in, realtor fees, closing costs, that sort of thing, she probably ended up with less than she had paid for it. We weren't told yet that her friends in real life had been lost when she started telling them about all of her illnesses and diseases. We would later learn from one of the hundreds of those videos that she posted on social media that it was okay when she lost all of her friends because she made new friends online. In the beginning, long before those of us who would soon be publicly attacked had any clue that our names were on the list of targets, we also didn't know that the attackers had already created fake profiles on social media using our photos and our names. In the beginning, those of us who would soon be attacked by what appeared to be a dedicated group of attackers in position to harm us, or I should say to get back at us for discussing the case, those of us who were under attack before we even knew it had no way of knowing that the attackers were already on a self-proclaimed mission to, quote, destroy us. We didn't know about the Suicide Squad either, those members of the, quote, teams who attempted to push their targets to commit suicide. We didn't know about gaslighting, the tactic that the attackers use in their attempts to destroy our reputations and our credibility. We didn't know yet. We didn't know. We had no clue about the PDFs that were being compiled on each and every one of us by one of the attackers who claims she is able to access private information on her stepfather's computer. We didn't know at the time what our own opinions about the case even were. So when the attackers tell you that they're attacking us because they don't like our opinion on the case, they're lying. In fact, when the attackers speak, they're lying. We also didn't know in the beginning that while we were simply discussing a high-profile true crime case on social media, that our lives would soon be placed in danger. In the beginning, we didn't know much, but over the last 17 months, we sure have learned a lot, haven't we? We've learned that what the attackers have accused us of, that actually the accusations seem to apply to Christopher Watt's wife. Yes, we've learned a lot over the last 17 months, haven't we? We've learned about fake profiles. We've learned about online reputation companies. We've learned about smear campaigns. I learned how to take screenshots, and I learned what the word doxing means. We've learned that the definition of harassment, well, that some people believe the definition of harassment is when your friends send you links to videos or comments that they think you won't like. Then more recently, we learned a different definition of harassment. More recently, we learned that harassment means forming an opinion about the case that differs from the official narrative. That's harassment, supposedly. Well, in fact, we know what harassment is because we've been attacked and harassed and threatened for over 17 months straight by an organized effort seemingly focused on trying to invent a new reputation for Christopher Watt's wife while the attackers attempt to destroy the reputations and credibility of those of us they have carefully selected to maliciously harm in their efforts to silence any discussion on the case of Christopher Watts, which the attackers disapprove of. Gut Check is my new series on the case of Christopher Watts. Yes, we do have the right to discuss true crime cases on social media. Yes, we do have the right to assemble on social media, free of interference. Yes, we do have the right to privacy. Yes, we do have the right to a peaceful existence without daily threats and harassment from a dedicated group, organized and evidently financed to harm us. Yes, we do have the right to discuss this case and to form our own opinions, because in 2020, in the United States, we still have the right to think for ourselves.